talking about tools, I know that you've tested a large number of tools and platforms. And if someone wanted a practical, starting point, what are your top 3 tools or maybe platforms right now?
That's a great question. I think it does all kind of come down to, hey, what is your role and what are the things that are sucking up your time? Because that's going to dictate kind of what would I say are the top 3 tools for you. But personally, I think the first thing that I would recommend, and this is not necessarily a specific tool, it's a feature, of basically every major LLM right now, and that's deep research. And so what does that mean for commercial real estate? 2 layups would be market research. Everybody's got to do a lot of market research. Hey, we have a tenant that's considering expanding into a new market, or maybe we, as a ownership group or as a brokerage are considering expanding into a new market, and you need to synthesize and gather and understand a lot of information really, really quickly. There is a giant mass of just publicly available data on those markets that you can access with deep research super quickly. And it can be great for identifying, potential deals as well, because there's all these properties out there that, say you're looking for distressed properties. A lot of signals that indicate a property might be distressed are public facing signals, and that's information that deep research can often go in and access and provide you a report on. Or if you have a listing and you're thinking, hey, I got to fill this retail space, who's expanding in the area? Deep research can very quickly scour a whole slew of news articles to find examples of a certain bank just has announced, hey, I want to open up a bunch of new locations. And he can provide you a targeted hit list of ideas, companies that might be a good fit to go into that particular space. So deep research, I would say, just has so many implications on commercial real estate. Everyone should at least experiment with deep research and look into some ways that it can save you time. A huge topic in commercial real estate is just decks. People spend so much time on proposals, on marketing materials, on brochures. And even if you don't need AI to work on your brochures, just think of all the other marketing materials that you're putting out there into the world, that just don't look that good. All of a sudden, you can use a platform like Gamma or GenSpark, or there's some more bespoke solutions out there that can, very quickly and effectively take some written content and put together a beautiful marketing pitch deck or brochure or, resume or whatever you want to put together extremely quickly. And then you just have to jump in and make some edits, make sure it looks good. And that can be a platform that is not only good for individuals, but it's also an easy platform to operationalize, within a company. If you already have a designer, you show them how to use something like Gamma or GenSpark or one of these other platforms. Henry AI is one that's kind of more bespoke for offering memorandums. And all of a sudden, they're lightning. They're on steroids. They can just do a lot more than they were capable of doing before. One that I think is one of the most useful for me personally is something like Notebook LM, and Microsoft's Copilot has its own version of this, but everybody wants to use AI to access their information and their docs, and they don't want AI to make stuff up. Not everybody has a giant interconnected database with an AI agent hooked up to it that can go in and retrieve all the files that it needs at the right time. And so Notebook LM is just a really convenient solution for that. It's AI that's grounded only in the sources that you provide it. And so if you want some information from a lease agreement or all the lease agreements for your building or, your rent roll, because you want to figure out what tenants are coming up for renewal, if that information's inside Notebook LM, you can just query that information. You can get whatever insights you want, and you can do it very quickly, and you can rely on the information much better than if you were just using something like ChatGPT. Say you did some market research with deep research. Now you want to synthesize that information in different ways. You can take all that information, pop it into Notebook LM, and create a podcast for yourself that you can listen on the way to your next site visit or the next tour, or again, kind of whatever your role is in commercial real estate. And then, the final piece of it, I would say this is definitely true on the brokerage side, is the cold calling side of things, just kind of going out and finding property information, finding out who owns it, finding the contact information. I got to at least give a shout out to Terracotta. They have a lot of rave reviews from, customers that are using their platform for just that. That's kind of a wide ranging, smorgasbord of tools. But again, it kind of all depends on what's really taking up your time and what tool you can use to get some of that time back.
If you look at the emerging technologies right now in the AI world, like LLMs, integrations, agentic systems, copilots, which ones do you believe will actually have a huge influence on our industry over the next couple of years?
I mean, definitely LLMs like that, they've already had such a huge impact. And I think part of that is because it's just so accessible. For $20 a month can just do things with technology that they never would have been able to do before. And it's very personalized. I think the more impactful technology is that is going to kind of change the lives of people in commercial real estate is these automation platforms. Everyone loves talking about AI agents. You got to build an AI agent. That word is so overutilized that it's lost all meaning. Most people have no idea what an AI agent actually is anymore. But with an automation platform, you can go from getting AI to do a specific task for you to getting AI and automation to do a whole range of tasks for you that cover a complete process. Hey, I want to take that OM that just got emailed to me, automatically extract some information, and then just email me the summary. That's one task. But then you can take that same information, you can map it to your database, and then you could queue up the next step in the automation be, hey, monitor for any additional emails that come through on that email chain. And so if anything changes with that particular deal, all of a sudden it updates that specific deal. There's kind of a separation in the learning curve because a lot of people will learn to use LLMs and there's only a certain number of people that will actually learn to use automation platforms. But if you can learn to do that, if you can learn how do I trigger this automation to fire up, if you can get good at writing prompts so that, hey, the automation's fired up because I got this email or I received this document or I put it in a folder. Now I want AI to do something with it. How do I write that prompt? All of a sudden, a whole range of possibilities open up of AI doing work for you. And you don't even need to open up the LLM to do it. It just gets done because the process got started. So I think overall, LLMs are going to have a larger impact because more people will use those than people that take the time to learn to build automations. But I think the people that do take the time to learn to do that, they will see a much larger impact on themselves and in their organizations.